All right.
Todd, with so many of with the starters and a lot of the regulars not playing, do you sort of treat today as just a regular practice compared to maybe how you might have if you were 2 days out from a
For
game?
sure. Today will just be a regular practice for our guys. Not really preparing for Thursday night. We'll get to that tomorrow. Not that we're not repping concepts that we expect to run in the game, and we are. But it's really getting our guys that that are ones and we know are going to be on the roster getting the work.
Todd, how much weight do you put in this game versus we talk so much about body work with the quarterbacks, but just with the whole roster and the decisions you have to make with this game and just sort of the body of work?
It's a piece. It's all a piece. I mean, every single day in the building and on the practice field is a piece. The games that we play are a piece. How much you weigh them, up for debate, depending on what you see or don't see or who it's against. All of that is a part of it. I mean, it just is. And so then you got to weigh it and take the information and make the best decisions you can.
You explained why you're not playing the starters after your discussion with Vrabel. But why aren't you playing Shedeur?
We're not playing him because we'd like to see Dylan more. It worked out last game. That was unfair to him. Mm-hmm. So in order to do that, to see more of him and yet see Talon, there's just not enough reps. That's the reason. There's really nothing else. Just trying to see Talon after he played pretty well in the limited reps he had against the Bills, and we want to see more of Dylan. And it just hasn't worked out trying to get those other guys reps. That's the reason.
I don't think
When you talk about Talon and you talk about how smart he is, and I know he's had very, very limited reps, but do you still think that there could be a world in which you can use him in some of those special situations, maybe not right away, but...
I don't know that yet. It's just been so limited at practice. We've just dedicated so many of the reps to Shedeur and Deshaun. It's really limited their opportunities, Dylan and Talon, and yet they've handled it great. Both prepare like they're pros, like they should, and so I'm just excited to see them play because, again, they don't get nearly as many reps in practice, so their opportunity to get out there and play will weigh heavily in where we look at the roster moving forward.
Will they, Dylan and or Talon, get any team reps today? Do you know? Didn't look like they got any yesterday.
I don't anticipate them getting many team reps today.
So then, it's just from their perspective, how challenging is that then to go into Thursday night, get a bunch of reps when you haven't practiced much? Kind of like being a backup
No, it's
quarterback.
not easy. It's not easy. I mean, and even if you're the backup quarterback, you would hope like heck that you got the reps, other than if someone got hurt. Then you'd have to go in on game day. But that's just the choice we made was, all right, what do we want to do? Let's get the guys that we know we want to watch in practice and get them the reps.
Talon mentioned that he's been Dirk Cutter, one of his assistant coaches, somewhere along the way.
At Boise. He was at Boise.
Your old boss.
Mm-hmm.
So did that give him a little jump start on what you're doing here?
Some of that. There are pieces of what we do offensively that go all the way back to that. Some concepts, I'm sure. But I'm sure over the course of time we've changed a little bit. Do I think there's some comfort there in that, knowing how he's wired and Talon able to talk to Coach about me? I think that helps from us in terms of our relationship. Yes, more maybe of that than schematically.
What do you say to Taylor as is getting ready for his first NFL game?
Man, isn't this cool? I mean, isn't it everything you dreamed about that the majority of us don't get to do? To put the helmet on, forget that you didn't practice, right? And you're a Cleveland Brown, but heck, you got drafted, right? So you got your name called, and this is just that next step, right? Like, it just is really cool. Like the whole thing with Luke, right? With the touchdown. I asked him the other day at practice, I'm like, did you get the ball at least? Did you at least keep it? He's like, no, I forgot. But Tylan Wallace got it for me. So Tylan was cool enough to go and get it from the official and give it to him. And you forget those really cool stories or moments that only very few people get to live. As much as I've, and most of us have dedicated our lives to this sport, to be able to play, an NFL game is really freaking cool.
So there's some head coaches there's some head coaches who use preseason games as an opportunity to let some of their assistants call plays. Will you call plays on Thursday?
I'll call it Thursday. Yep.
Todd, we talked to Malik Collins today, and he mentioned how much pride he takes in his leadership. I don't know if you've gotten to see a lot of that at this point, but how important is it to have a guy like that on a team, especially a team like this that's so young?
Well, I'll just speak to this. I think I said it the other day, like, what an unbelievable job of the off season of what he did from afar because of his family was not here for the majority of the off season, being in Houston, which in most cases is not ideal, right? In most cases, I think your medical people and your coaches would say, we want our players to be here. So that takes diligence. That takes being a pro. That means an everyday approach. And where he's at in his career, it's not easy. He's not a young player. He's made enough money to probably be okay. Says a lot about him. Like I said, he came back, when we started camp, and I'm like, man, I think he's ready to go right now. So that's a lot to say about him. And you could see that yesterday in practice, how the guys rallied around having him out there in the individual period, which I showed today in the team meeting. I mean, that tells you how they think about him. It tells you what they think.
So is there a really is there uncertainty about who your QB3 is going into the season?
I wouldn't say that. We just want to see them. I wouldn't say there's uncertainty, but I do think we want to see both of them, and it's unfair to judge Dylan based on basically what happened last game for sure.
Todd, to go back to Malik, just along those lines, I mean, when we were talking to him today, he talked about even though he had such good production last year, like he felt like there were things he could have done better rushing-wise. I mean, just to hear a veteran say that and always kind of finding those things, how helpful is that with how many young guys you have around him?
No, he's wired the right way. I mean, it just is what it is. I mean, and those guys know it. So it's been impressive.
You mentioned yesterday the long game with Shador. How could the setup now, where it'll be a longer run-up to whenever he plays next in a regular season game, maybe set him up for better success than as opposed to throwing him out to the wolves on the road in week 1?
Well, I don't know that. Every player's a little bit different. You've seen quarterbacks go in there and right away play well, and you've seen others that need some time, and that's at every position. Some, it happens quicker than others. Some had further to go. I know this, that from the jump in the offseason when he showed some things that I really liked, the way he's wired, that's when we made the decision to give him more reps. That's when we decided to make it a competition for Shador and for us. That was the point of it all, to get where he's at today. Because early on, in my opinion, it was pretty obvious that Deshaun was ahead. His experience, right? He should be, right? There's no difference there. But we made that decision, and where he's at today is a byproduct of that. And I'm excited about, again, the long game for him. There's certain things he has to continue to work on, and he's going to just continue to grow leaps and bounds because he's a sponge. Takes it all in. He really does. And so I just think that it's a matter of time before we get a chance to see that.
Is the number one offensive line set we saw Thursday having?
I anticipate that would be our set offensive line, yes.
Todd, I know the team waived Daquan Wright on Monday, but I was just kind of curious from your perspective. Like, when did you become aware that he might want to leave?
Well,
did you see Lane Kiffin's comments?
I did. Okay. First off, I should not. One of our staff had said, that's when I said us, not me, okay? I said that Lane Kiffin, one of our staff had said that they'd gotten a text. I should have followed through with it. Maybe they meant someone from their staff, right? That's on me. Should not throw someone's name out there without what? Following through with it, right? I was just making light of it. I was really not trying to make a big thing of it. It was just like, man, what this world we've come to. And I shouldn't have thrown that out there, right? Like, to me, hey, I can't control this, right? It was almost silliness and goofiness, like, really? This is what we've come to, where guys can be here and go back to college? It's really not a big deal, other than I probably shouldn't have without knowing for sure, So it is what it is.
But when did you know that Daquan might? We haven't seen it.
I knew it when it got on social media. How the hell would I know? I mean, I've never had to deal with it. Like, who's had to deal with, like, oh, and that happens. It happens in college with everybody. Like, they catch word of something, right? You got players on your own team. You're like, catching word from so-and-so that he might be entering the portal. It's just word of mouth. They're not going to come to you. It's not like you're going to stop there, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about going back to college. No. So it was a weird situation. He got hurt. He's going back to college. It is what it is. Good luck to him. He's a good kid. And they're going to do a great job at LSU. That's what they should do. Their job is to get the best players they can to win games. I'm not mad at anybody. I was actually, like I said, shouldn't have taken what I'd heard and ran with it.
Todd, Parker, how concerned are you about him getting out, getting the reps he might need to be ready for the regular season?
Well, we'll see. Just when he gets out there and get a chance, it's we'll just have to see.
Todd, yesterday it looked like
last one here.
Denzel Boston was going up against Denzel Ward a number of times. Just how valuable is that work for both guys, but particularly the rookie?
No, you come to find out that there's a difference, right? Like Denzel's missed a little bit of time, so is Tyson. We haven't played teams as of yet that have played their top corners, right? So there is a difference, right? I mean, there's millionaires and there's thousandaires, right? And those guys out there that are really good, they're multi-millionaires and they're paid to cover. And that's how you develop, right? Going up against the best and yet having other opportunities to build your confidence, right? There's a combination of that. You want to have some success, right, to help build your confidence, but then you got to see where you're at, right, with any position, right? That's the way it is. And so I'm always excited to see our guys go against it because it gives you a little bit of an insight as to where they're at this point. All right. Thank you.